Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is the second time I've recorded this video. Sorry about that. Um, okay, so today's Ask Seanna live video isn't going to be live because I'm recording it now to avoid all of the live distractions. And there are some things I really want to go over. Today's video is why you should not wait to buy a house. Okay. Number one, FICO. Obviously, you could literally come across a long time ago, you had a copay for a dental office that you forgot about. And suddenly, a year and a half later, they want to report it to your credit report as a collection. That will reduce your FICO score in the middle of trying to qualify for a house, or in the middle, like what if you apply for a mortgage now and in the process, this has happened before more than one time to one of my own buyers. If you're in the middle of trying to buy a house and that collection comes up and hits your credit report, then it'll drop your score. It very well likely will drop your score. And then we'd have to stop, ask the seller for an extension, and then go prove that we paid the collection and then rescore you. So if your credit is good right now, and there's so many definitions for the word good, go to the Ask Seanna Live video pinned to my Facebook wall, or go down to the very next page of this video and click the link for the very first video in the series, which was FICO scores, which I did last week, and watch that video. Okay. All of the tips and the tricks of increasing your FICO score are in that video. Next. So anyway, to recap FICO scores, any collection that is unforeseen that could hit your credit report could, stop you from being eligible for a mortgage. And you just never know if something like that's going to happen to your credit. So why wait until, spring, when all of the houses are now on the market and there's more inventory to buy a house, when we don't even know what the rates are going to be. Next, jobs. Okay. Anything can happen to your current employment situation. Now, you might be thinking, well, that is a reason to wait. I want to wait until my job is stable and I know I'm not going to get fired. Well, that is absolutely true. We want to do that. However, if you wait to apply for a mortgage to say, June, or when you have more money saved, it's kind of like planning to have a baby. Yeah, think about that. Nobody really, truly ever, I shouldn't say nobody, there are people that do, plans to have a baby. Because if they plan for 18 years of expenses, they will never have a baby, right? So the jobs, anything can happen. And if you, for some reason, get laid off or the company goes out of business, the lapse in time between the layoff period and the time you find a new job could delay your eligibility for a mortgage. So we don't want that to happen. If you have a good paying, steady job right now, then go ahead and apply for the mortgage. Don't wait until you have a more stable job. Okay. Next, rates. Rates change twice a day. You are marrying the property. You're not marrying the interest rate. 9 times out of 10, and this is statistically proven, nobody holds their current mortgage for 30 years. If you want to capitalize and use the equity you've built up in your house, 9 times out of 10, you're going to refinance and take cash out to cover whatever unforeseen expense you have, pay for college tuition, pay off debt consolidation. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get that rate again. So why wait for the rates to come down? It's just doesn't make sense. I would much rather pay a lower price now that the market is stabilizing, the sellers are reducing their prices, and the values are stable. becoming more stable and more affordable for a buyer to buy a house. If you wait until the rates come down, the likelihood that the prices go up again is very high. So I would rather pay a higher interest rate for a mortgage I'm not going to keep for 30 years and a lower sales price than I would a higher sales price and a lower rate on a mortgage I'm probably going to refinance within 3 to 5 years. I'm going to capitalize on that equity, right? So that is that one. Holidays. At the time I'm recording this video, it is an evergreen video. So I want it on there on YouTube and everywhere forever, because these truths won't change. The information I'm giving you in this video will likely not change. So it's the holiday season. The sellers during the holiday are more giving. It's the season of giving, guys. Not only are the sellers more willing to give, if you have family members that give you gifts for the holidays, why not let them know that you want to buy a house? And any gift for your down payment would be, you'd be grateful for. And there isn't a limit to the number of people that can gift you, number of family members that can gift you your down payment. If you have five family members that want to give you $1,000 each, that's $5,000 we would use as your assets. Next, programs. When the market deteriorates and the interest rates go up, lenders are struggling to find buyers to loan money to, and that is their business. So they create programs, more affordable programs and incentives like the 3-1 buy down, for example, for buyers to buy now instead of waiting until the interest rates go down. So industry-wide, mortgage companies, wholesale lenders, even Fannie and Freddie, they are lessening the strictness of their guidelines so more people qualify for a mortgage, so more people will buy a house. Okay, so programs is always a big one when you think you should wait to buy a house until you have more money, or until the interest rates come down, or for whatever reason you're waiting. Okay, just don't wait, because you might not have access to the program in 6 months from now that you have access to right now. And in the links below, you will find a form I created the other day, where the first page of the form talks about all of the reasons, on the top 20 reasons why buyers think they don't qualify for a mortgage. There's a whole bunch of check boxes on there. If you meet any of those check boxes, you probably qualify for a mortgage. And the second page of the form is Florida's Homes for Heroes. I grouped some of them together just to decrease the size of the form, but all of those career fields qualify for the Florida Homes for Heroes program. So programs are a big one. College credits. Now, we are in the last month of the year at the time of this recording, and college students are closing up their semesters for the winter semester. They're taking exams. What people don't know is, yes, you need 2 years of stable employment to qualify for most mortgages. However, college credits, your transcript, if you are currently employed or will be employed, you have a job offer letter, for example, for a career field that is applicable to your degree program, whether you've graduated or not, the college classes actually can count towards employment history as long as they jive. They have to be, if your college degree is art and your new job is working for an art museum, it applies. If your college degree is business administration, then your job as a manager or an entry-level administrative assistant applies to that degree program. And your college experience for the last 2 years, or if it's a year and a half and you only have 6 months on the job, the total 2 years of 1.5 years of school and 6 months on the job equals 2 years. We just start with the date of your first class. And so college transcripts actually are eligible for employment history. And only an experienced loan officer knows that. Next up, gifts. It's Christmas. Remember what I was talking about on the down payment on a couple of dots below or above? There's no maximum number of family members that can gift you money. If 10 people want to give you $500, that's $5,000 that you can use towards your down payment. Also, Christmas, right? Holidays. Sellers are more giving. It's easier to negotiate. In the history of my career, even as a real estate agent, negotiating real estate transactions during the holiday season has always been more joyful for the seller, the buyer, the lender, and the realtors, okay? Because it's the spirit of giving. And people in general make things less difficult during the holidays. Next is interest on the mortgage for the coming year. If you qualify for a mortgage right now, middle of December, and you find your house, say the first week of January, and you close on the last week of January, your first mortgage payment will be due March 1st. That means you're going to be paying not only the prepaid interest at the closing table for the first 45 or 30 days, 30 to 45 days in interest, daily interest before your first mortgage payment, but you'll also be paying all year long for your, interest all year long. So at the end of the year, when it's time to file next year's taxes, you're going to get a 1098 form from your mortgage company that tells you how much interest you've paid, which you will itemize on your taxes. So you'll get a bigger refund on your taxes the closest to the beginning of the year that you purchase your house. Boom, right? And the next one on it is Social Security and disability income. Every December, January-ish, the Social Security Administration or whoever administers your disability income, whether it's Department of Veterans Affairs or whether it's the federal government in any of the departments, whoever you get SSI or disability from, if you do not pay taxes, like it's exempt from income taxes, we are allowed as loan officers to gross up the income that you get. Every December, January, you're going to get a new statement with the inflation and the cost of living increase that tells you what your new monthly disability or Social Security income is. We are allowed to use the new income for qualifying for your mortgage right now. True story. Next. Oh, and just going back to the grossing up, again, we use any other person's taxable income. We use their gross to qualify, not their net. So when you are exempt from paying taxes on your disability and Social Security income, we can gross it up 25% and give you more income for your qualifying scenario. Yay, because it's apples to apples. If we don't do that, it's not fair because we're using everybody else's gross income. Why are we using your net income? So we gross it up. The next one is leasing. If you are ending the term of your lease, or if you are planning to lease a property, maybe you're just now starting and you're a young adult, you will need first month's rent, last month's rent, and a full month's rent of your security deposit. So if you are paying $2,500 a month, I'm just using it as an example for monthly rent, that is $7,500, guys. That is a down payment, okay? And you can own the house and write off the interest on your taxes instead of paying somebody else's mortgage so they can write it off. Let's keep the benefits to you. It's called self-love. We don't want to pay the interest that another person that owns the house, the landlord, we're paying his mortgage and he's getting all the benefits. You can't even paint your bedroom without permission. Let's see where you fall in the game of that. If you are ending the term of your lease, here's the thing. You probably paid first month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit. Now, every state has a legal requirement for the landlord to return the security deposit with interest. So all we need is for your landlord to sign a letter stating what that refund is, and we can use it as the assets in your file. That asset can be used for reserves on your file, which strengthens your file. And regardless, if you have a 580 credit score and you're getting $7,000 back from your landlord because you rented there for so long and you've had 2 months security deposit with interest, that asset can be used as an asset in your file. So if the file comes back because of the lower credit score as a higher risk and you need reserves, which is you have to have money to cover mortgage payments after closing. So after your down payment and closing costs are covered and you've closed on the loan, we still need money in your account. We can't zero it out at closing. That is what reserves is called. And the letter from the landlord can be used to show reserves. They just have to sign the letter and agree to the calculation, right? Easy stuff. Next, we have timing. Sellers are paying closing costs for buyers right now. Why would we wait until the interest rates come down and now the sellers are not only increasing their prices, but they're not going to be willing to do concessions anymore, because if they don't want to give you a seller credit towards your closing costs, the next buyer will make an offer that doesn't ask for any. So the time to buy real estate is always, always, always now. We don't have a crystal ball, people. We don't know what the interest rates are going to be in 3 months, in 6 months. But we do know that if you qualify for a mortgage now and your lease is up in February, you're right on time. If you qualify for a mortgage now and your lease is up in February, you're going to get the most interest paid at the year end for the highest amount of interest you could possibly pay for your tax return next year. Again, timing. Holidays. Man, since 1988, okay, if I had $1 for every time somebody said they wanted to wait till the spring, they want to wait till the summer, they want to wait till the fall, they want to wait till winter, they have to wait until after the kids go back to school, they want to look for a house before the kids go back to school, they want to finish their summer vacation before they even start the process. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, and the person wished they did not wait, I would be a millionaire. And I'm not a millionaire. But if I had $1 for everybody that waited and wished after the fact, hindsight 2020, that they didn't wait, I'd be filthy rich, guys. Next up, debt to income ratios. Holy smokes. I don't think I can qualify for a mortgage. Lord, make it stop. Okay. Let the mortgage loan officer tell you whether or not for a specific program, the debt to income ratio is too high. Let me tell you that, okay? Because if your debt to income ratio is too high on a conforming conventional primary residence purchase, then I will switch the loan program to something else like a no doc, which doesn't have a debt ratio. I have the programs in my head. Now, a mortgage lender has programs, but every lender is different, which brings me to I didn't talk about relocation, but the other lender said no. I am a mortgage broker, okay? An underwriter cannot unsee a document. If you go to a direct lender, number one, because they're retail, it's the difference between paying Walmart prices, or I should say Sam's Club prices, which is wholesale, versus Macy's department store. The lender, the retail lender, is the Macy's department store pricing and rates. The Sam's Club is the mortgage broker's pricing and rates. Now, here's the difference. As a mortgage broker, I can go to BJ's, Costco's, or Sam's Club. If I think that your mortgage, for some reason, your cookie cutter, your scenario does not fit into the first 12 lenders, I'll just take you to the 13th one. I have options that a retail lender does not have. So going back to this bullet I skipped, which is relocation, you haven't started a job yet. So you have an offer letter that says you're going to start your job on January 20th or January 30th, and you don't want to go through the process until you have your first pay stub, which is what your friend of a friend's loan officer told you that you needed, a first pay stub. Guys, you don't need the first pay stub to get your pre-approval letter to send you out the door shopping with your realtor, who I can refer you to if you don't have one. Okay? Anywhere in the country. You don't need the first pay stub to get the pre-approval letter. You need the first pay stub to go to closing. You need the first pay stub for the clear to close, not the pre-approval letter to send you out shopping. Big difference, guys. So you could have a job offer letter that says you start your job on January 15th and your income is going to be $80,000 a year salary. And you're expected to work 80 hours a pay period, 40 hours a week. And you've met all the contingencies, the background check, everything. Signed by the HR guy or girl. That is what I would use as your income to give you, Seanna Smallwood approves this buyer. You go shopping, you make your offer. Your realtor includes my lender letter with your offer. The seller accepts the offer. Your closing is January 30th or February 10th. As long as the first pay stub we'll go through the entire underwriting process, everything except for that first pay stub. It's called a trailing condition for the CTC, a trailing condition for the clear to close. You do not need to wait for the first pay stub to start the process. You need to wait for the first pay stub to close on the loan. Okay? And we can, use a calendar and your anticipated payday to calculate when that's going to be and when you'll have your pay stub. So good stuff there. These are just off the top of my head, the reasons why you should not wait to qualify to buy a house. You want to save money? How about looking at the down payment assistance programs for first-time home buyers? I can show those to you. The form that I have linked into the description box of this video, wherever you're finding this video, the form, the boxes are there. I literally created it the other day. The first section, again, is for all of the reasons that a typical buyer or a typical consumer thinks that they wouldn't qualify for a mortgage. If you can check one of those boxes, you probably qualify for a mortgage. I added domestic violence to the form this morning, forgetting that I put it on there. If you haven't seen my top reasons why buyers think or borrowers think they don't qualify for a mortgage video series, 1 to 20 reasons, the first video series I pinned to my Facebook wall, and it's FICO scores. I promise you, if you watch that video, you will be super excited and you'll call me. 240-695-2907. Please, guys, share this video. I am Seanna Smallwood. I am licensed in Maryland and Florida, NMLS 1252825, and I am with a mortgage broker. I never say the name of the mortgage broker on my videos anymore because I have an entire YouTube playlist with a broker I'm not even with anymore. But the content is so good, I cannot delete the video. So, and it's still true. If I'm still with a mortgage broker, then the video is still true. Okay? The content in the video is still true. So, 240-695-2907. You can find all of the links to reach me and watch videos in the next page below. And the top 20 reasons why people don't think they qualify for a mortgage and probably do. As I record them, I'm going to link them in the next page of this video. Okay. All right. I love you. I cannot wait to qualify you for a mortgage. Let's get it done. The time is now, guys.